I almost don't know where to start this because there is so much on my mind. I hear a lot of people saying God told them or God led them, which to some degree may be correct. But me, I don't know. Ever since I was a young teenager, I've had premonitions and visions of future events. And as I've gotten older, they've turned into more worldly events. Originally, they were just silly things. I don't know, little things that would happen. Sometimes if a family member was going to pass or get sick. But in the 2000s and some corruption stuff and some attempts on my life that I reported corruption, things got more worldly, and my direction in life started looking into what was going on and how to get out of it. So ever since I was a child, I was technically abused and had a kind of a tough life. I'm not going to cry the blues. I'm 70 years old. I lived through it all. I've had an NDE. I was almost ripped in half from my navel across to my hip. With like a 4-inch gouge. They had that graft skin, put me back together, and I wasn't supposed to live. And I had a conversation with God. And not that I remember most of the conversation, I don't, but the conversation I do remember was the last words God said to me, because I just kept saying, I promise I'll be good. I don't want to die. I was 8 years old. And that's basically what an 8-year-old would kind of say, because I was being abused and I thought it was me, was my problem, that I was misbehaving or something, when it really wasn't that. I was just getting beat up and abused and put down for no reason whatsoever. That followed me through my whole life. And I think that even though God said it was going to be really hard, I think it was what I was saying, that I promised I would be good. And I guess nobody can be good. So, as an introduction to me, and as I got into my 30s and started getting threats in a business that I opened from the mafia and covered up by the New Jersey Attorney General's office first, the Department of Community Affairs, the governor's office, lieutenant governors, senators, FBI, DOJ. No one wanted to look at what they were doing to me in my business, which was personal threats of harm. I can name names. It was Arnold Migliaccio of Illuminations by Arnold. The threats were coming from Perdeco out of Newark, this Genesi fine crime family, and John Verona of Christmas Spectacular, or Verona Electric, who gets a lot of government contracts. In a nutshell, what they do and what happened to me, and just giving you some background, is they get contracts without bids, and they charge 4 or 5 times, 10 times what the amount would be, and they do it on a rental, which is the easiest way to launder money. So the FBI, the CIA, the mob, the AG's office, the state AG's office, all the county prosecutors, and even local police stations are all in the same club. All of them cover up the laundering of the money. Every last one of them. They're either afraid or complicit in getting their share or whatever they get, which may be their job and their pension and a little bit of extras that come to them. I spent 30 years fighting with these assholes, criminals, and had so many death threats and attempts on my life. Car bomb, a van bomb, what is in my van, fire bomb that blew up in my van. I didn't get burnt. I jumped out. It's kind of weird. I've had a pitman arm cut 3/4 of the way through in the center of the pitman arm, which is not where a pitman arm would break. If anywhere, it would break at the pin on the idler arm. They should have known that's where to cut it instead of in the center of the pitman arm. But they're not real bright. And loosening of the lugs, cutting of brake lines, you know, all kinds of things. And every time I was lucky. I felt the wheel wobble a little. I'm mechanically inclined, got out and tightened my lugs on my front right tire of my pickup truck. The pitman arm, I was hit a pothole and I was only going 5 miles an hour going into a Wawa when that broke. And I was only going a couple of miles an hour making a left when the firebomb went off. When I reported some of these incidents to the prosecutor's office, especially Ocean County prosecutor, he asked me if I seen who put the bomb in the car, and I said, he didn't just ask me that. If you saw somebody put a bomb in your car, would you go in there and start it up and drive away? I don't think so. So obviously I didn't see who did it. Do I know exactly who did it? Yeah, Mike Howard from Midwest Displays and John Verona did it. That's who was responsible for it. They never wanted me to have anything, and I never could have anything. But I also had problems that follows evil. People don't understand that there's evil. A lot of people don't understand that there really are evil entities that follow certain people around. They know their souls. They know that they're good. So I'm a good-hearted person. I help anybody. I've helped homeless people. I'm not bragging. That's just my nature. I'm that way. I was born that way. I was abused. I've seen suffering from other people, and I didn't see any reason for it. And I always just tried to make other people's lives better, although they've taken everything from me. But now I'm getting really unusual shit happening to me, especially with my heart, which is only happens in the evenings, especially when I'm on X. Now, it could be just coincidence. It could be X stressing me, but I don't think so. I could be just watching something or really not paying attention, and it happens anyway. So I'm going to tell you what I get is future events. So if you spent enough time listening to this part of me explaining who I am and what happened to me in my life and all through school and high school, yeah, always not picked on by other students so much, but by administration, and to make sure that I never accomplished anything, and even my parents or my stepdad specifically. I had to kind of grow up on my own. I was a child who was smart and just did everything on my own. I became a professor for computer. I don't know, I taught IBM OS, JCL was my course, but I also taught COBOL and RPG when they needed someone to fill in, which are programming languages that are dead nowadays. Jekyll, JCL, OS operations, DOS operations, and VM operations. Anybody who's old from the 70s or 80s, and maybe even into the early 90s or so would know exactly what that stuff is. I didn't graduate high school. Not that I didn't have passing grades. I wasn't allowed to graduate. Just like I wasn't allowed to go on field trips. I wasn't allowed to go on any sports teams, even though I was extremely athletic. So those were my growing up years. I got married, I prayed, and I got married, and I had 4 beautiful children, and I have eight grandchildren and 1 on the way, and I pray that everything goes well with their lives. But I've always been an outsider. So we're just going to go back to what's going on in the future, because that's what everyone wants to hear, except for they won't believe me. First of all, the 2,000-mile snow storm is fake snow, but you know that. But it's a delivery system for pathogens. Whether there's pathogens in this snow or not, I don't know. It might have been a test to see if they could do it and how long the snow would last on the ground. But I would beware of the fog that's coming with the next snowstorm. And they are definitely um, depopulating the planet, and everyone kind of knows that. So I'm going to talk about Mr. Trump for a while because there's a lot of Trump people in here, and I voted for Trump because obviously Heels Up Harris was not a good choice. Just by her nickname is kind of obvious. So Donald Trump, whether he's a pedophile or not, I don't really care. This is what Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump is sending bombs to Israel. Israel's bombing Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, all Iran, everywhere in the Middle East. And it's upheaving the governments or destabilizing the governments in that area, which is creating a lot of refugees. Then you have Jewish NGOs that bring the refugees to Western countries on purpose, and they empty out the prisons in those Middle Eastern countries and South American countries, which they're also destabilizing. And they send them to the United States and to the European nations to create havoc. So you have Donald Trump sending the bombs, supporting Israel no matter what. They even named a hill after him in the Golan Heights, the Donald Trump Hill. They tell him he's King Cyrus reincarnated, which he believes in his mind, thinks he's here to change the world and make the Jews in charge as if they're the chosen people. Those people are not Jews, they're Zionists. The Jews that are there, that may be real Jews, are cannon fodder. They are going to destroy Tel Aviv, and that's why they're provoking everybody. And then you'll see, boom, nuke. They need to destroy God's land. They need to take God out of the world, his holy land and where he appeared and everything about God, especially the Christians with Jesus. In Nigeria, gets their weapons from Israel. The Muslims who are killing the Christians, and Armenians. In Armenia, the Muslims who are killing the Christians are getting their weapons from Israel. ISIS getting their weapons from Israel and their intel that helped them topple Assad to destabilize that country to let Christians get killed by putting ISIS in charge. Notice ISIS never attacked Israel. And in fact, they helped their wounded. And they're starving people in Gaza. They don't even care. It took 130 years for the Zionists to turn the Jewish people into a country of psychopaths who believe it's right to kill anyone who's not Jewish and believing in their Zionist ideology. Most 43% of Israel is secular. Secular means without God, meaning they don't believe in God. So, but they believe God gave them that land. That's an excuse. They programmed them into being psychopaths, and they can't even understand why they are psychopaths, because they've been raised from generation, family to child, to Hebrew school for 130 years, since the 1900s, when they've been boatloading the Jewish people over there. The original Jewish people from the 1890s and whatnot were wanderers. The early 1900s, they didn't believe they deserved a homeland until their Messiah came. So unless Rothschild, the King of England, and the UN are there, is there a Messiah, then they're not supposed to be there. And it's nowhere in Torah, anywhere in the Bible, that they should kill everybody and take the land it was promised to them. They don't even believe in God. 43% of Israel does not believe in God. 85% of them believe that they should kill the Palestinians or get rid of them somehow or ever starve them. They don't care. They're totally the cruelest people ever born on the face of the earth. And they don't even see it. They think that they're right. And I don't know how if they don't believe in God. Do not believe in God, you're secular. Netanyahu's secular. That means atheist. That means I don't believe in God. So how did God leave you the land if you don't believe in him? You know, even if you're Jewish, you'd have to ask that question. I'm a secular Jew. I don't believe in God, but God left me this land. And where does it say that God told you to kill everybody and take their land? Oh, they're terrorists. So what? You don't think the Zionists were shooting the bottle rockets into Israel that weren't harming anybody and blaming Hamas while they actually financed Hamas, financed ISIS? You don't see it? How stupid can you be? You have the highest IQs in the world. The Jews are chosen people. No, these are wrong. Everything is wrong and everything is a lie. As far as the depopulation, they're poisoning our food, our water, our air, and they're sending pathogens. They're poisoning our medications. They're making us sicker instead of healthier, shortening our lifespans, making us sterile, promoting abortion, and everything comes from the Zionists who are controlled by the world elite demonics. And that's how, you know how you get money? And you can ask a singer, will tell you, a famous rock star or singer or actor. They made a deal with the devil. They sold their soul. They sacrificed a baby, an innocent, tortured it, drank its blood, offered it to the demon, and the demon gave them what they wanted. That's how it works. If you don't think that shit works, that's your problem. Me, I don't have much time left because they're coming after me really strongly. I am the most, what would you call it on X? I don't know. Censored person on there. I don't get more than 1 or 2 impressions on any post. On this, here I have 4 people who looked at it. YouTube's going to give me a strike for this because I mentioned Netanyahu in Israel. And every war in the Middle East, if there were no wars in the Middle East, we would not have refugees. We would not have the problems we have today. And who's supplying them? Trump supplying them with the weapons to create the refugees and the NGOs, which are also Jewish or Zionist organizations, and they're paying the protesters to fight with the ICE agents. Obama deported 5 million in 8 years, 5 million refugees. Nobody was rioting then. The George Floyd thing, they pay people. And people, you sell out your souls for the little paycheck that they give you. It's only fake money anyway. And you know what? I don't really care because my time is short now. I know it. The attacks are strong on me, and they're demonic attacks. I think they send the frequencies out or do something because it's only certain hours a day. My heart starts racing like crazy, like way over 100 at a sitting resting point. And even if I take the medications they gave me for that, it goes even higher still. So, and the medications are made to lower your heart rate. So if they're not working, there's something else going on. And I, in November, went for a checkup for my heart, got an EKG and an echocardiogram November 10th. And my EKG was perfect. So something happened from November to now that all of a sudden I'm having craziness with my heart. And nothing makes sense. I get up in the morning, my heart rate's 65. What the fuck? I don't understand it. 6, 7 o'clock at night, if I go on X, it goes 80, 90, 100, 110. Yeah. I am so censored in shadow banned, the highest shadow ban that you could get. I have. You want to take my name and check it. You can check shadow ban. You can see my profile on X. On Facebook, I don't really post anything because I have a lot of family and friends on there. And I don't know, something inside me just says, oh, you don't really want them to know who you are. And I talk to a lot of them personally, so they know my story and they know who I am. But I'm telling you, I'm making this video. They're killing 2/3 of the world, 2 billion dead, nuclear attacks. I see a nuclear plant detonating, and they're blaming it on Russia. Russia is not the one that did it. I see Russian troops in England, northern England, and I see Russian troops in Italy. They come from the south. I don't know. They have a base down in Africa somewhere, in northern Africa. They kind of come up the Mediterranean and they go into Rome. They sack the Vatican and hold up something as a victory of Christ over Christ. The Islamic people, you are controlled by the Jews. You were created by the Jews, your whole religion. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm sorry. You are controlled by the Jews, by the Zionists. And so is the Vatican at this point. So I'm not leaving anyone out. And the Jews, they isolated you. Why do you think no TV, no radio? Why do you think they told you to grow up that way, not to associate with Gentiles, so that they could keep you isolated and brainwash you? It's not a hard thing to figure out. They isolated you from the rest of the world so that they could brainwash you into what you believe. That's just made up theology from ideology. It's not even theology, it's ideology from Theodore Herschel, the Rothschilds, who are definitely demonic. And you can see their parties and stuff. Wait, did you see that Eyes Wide Shut movie? Yeah, that's based on the Rothschilds and their group, the Rockefellers and the Soroses. You know, there's no way to win this. No one's gonna get an uprise and destroy all these people. They're still gonna support Donald Trump, even though he's the one creating this problem that we're having by sending the bombs to Israel, creating more immigrants and refugees, and destroying everyone's economies in their countries and creating starvation in these countries, supplying Israel with money so that they could supply other weapons to the Nigerian government, who's corrupt and just gives them to the Muslims to kill Christians. And so I don't know. We didn't learn in history that the Jews, the Bolsheviks, killed 50, 60 million Christians, maybe more, and then 85 million Christians basically died in World War II. We hear about the 6 million, but then we find out that that number is really not possible because there wasn't 6 million Jews in that area. But that's okay. It doesn't even matter. And that would mean you had to kill more than the people that were alive that were Jewish at the time in that area. I don't think so. Because we have all these Holocaust survivors, probably have a few 100,000, maybe 1 million of them, get some tattoos on their arm and collect benefits, reparations. Listen, everything is a freaking lie. This world is not what you think it is, and there's entities there that you cannot see that see you. Just like you see a tree, but a tree can't see you, but it can sense you. We can sense them, but we cannot see them. And they're around us. Sometimes they become visible to us with some magic rituals that they do. Albert Pike was famous for having demons appear to him, and so were some other people. And that's what it is. So, in my last breaths of life at 70 years old, which I shouldn't be having these problems, but they don't censor somebody like me for no reason. I'm going to tell you right now, I am censored more than anyone on X, or as the highest censor shadow ban you can be. I'm ghosted. No one, if I was a nutcase, they just let me spew out shit. They know what I'm saying is true. People who've talked to me on X and found out, oh, he said that and it came true. Stuff like a year before it happened, and stuff long before it happened, and sometimes right before it happened, where everybody says, that's not going to happen. No. Listen, the United States is posturing to attack Iran. I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen F-35s dropping incendiary bombs, hundreds of them dropping incendiary bombs all over Iran. That's number one I've seen, and not counting the rockets and missiles that are flying all over the place. And if Iran has a nuke, I saw Pakistan coming to its aid. Civil war in Russia. So that's when they sacked the Vatican, is when there's a fighting with the immigrants in Rome area in Italy, and I see the Irish standing up for what they believe, and Americans, but the Americans lose terribly. We are the new Palestinians in America. Get used to it, because right now you're just at the beginning stages. They're poisoning the food, they're poisoning the air. What they do to the Palestinians when they first went over there, the terrorist groups that the Israelis created before they were a country, they poisoned the wells. They tried to take over the cities. So all I'm saying is, you don't have to believe a word I say, but I'm telling you this: just about 100% of everything I say comes true. I'm telling you. And some things haven't happened yet. Trump's going to die in office, and it's when he goes against his Israeli masters. When he says, no, we can't do that to them, they will give him a heart attack. They've already set him up for it. They've injected him with some stuff that all they have to do is activate it. And he destroyed Donald Trump by thinking he's trying to save the world by putting the Jews in charge. The Zionists, I keep saying Jews, it's the Zionists, so just so people don't get so confused about me, is he destroyed his whole legacy and his children's legacy and destroyed them by what he's doing, and he doesn't even see it. It doesn't matter, because transhumanism's coming, the New World Order is coming. The council's going to be in England. England's Brexited for a reason. They're not part of the European Union. They're going to be the only country that's separate. Everyone else is going to belong to one of the 10, in Revelation, one of the 10 kingdoms, which are not actually kingdoms. They're areas of the New World Order, and they'll have councils, and they'll have a representative from each one of those, and they'll be meeting in England. The Antichrist is coming from the royal family bloodline in England. Don't know who that is. Probably here already. But bloodlines are kind of hard to track. Could it be King Charles? He's demonic, but I don't know. Some people say Donald Trump is the Antichrist. I don't think so. He has demons around him. Netanyahu has 2 or 3 demons around him, his wife and his children, or son, who's really a really bad psychopath. But, I mean, brainwashed, demon-controlled people. These are not just brainwashed, they're demon-controlled. They have like 3 or 4 demons around them. Trump has a couple, and the King of England, I can't really see. I don't know. It wasn't open to me. But there's problems in Australia with the political leaders that are demon controlled. Figure there are 200 fallen angels. So there's 200 countries in the world. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. That's just me thinking. I'm not saying that's a premonition vision. Stuff I told you. I see 4 missiles going into the U.S. East Coast with 7 warheads each on the missiles. They're supersonic, and I believe they're nuclear. New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, Connecticut parts, and Maryland, Delaware. And yeah, just take the area and spread it out. Civil war is going to start in Chicago. The gangs are going to arm themselves, the street gangs of immigrants and blacks. And they're going to fight against the ICE agents, which is going to really bring in the Insurrection Act and martial law, and it's going to spread across the country. It'll be 1860 all over again. And guess what? Don't want to believe me? Don't believe me. Think I'm a nut? Think I'm a nut. I don't really care. I'm documenting because I feel that they're coming after me really, really strongly now, and I don't have much time left. And if God put it on my mind, I can't explain it. I have to say it. I have to tell you what he's saying to me, whether no one's listening or not. I have to say it. It's like I don't have a choice. I can deny God, but I will not. I spent my whole life trying to be a good person. And not that I was good all the time. I certainly wasn't. I'm just a man. But I tried at my best, and I tried to help as many people as I could. But they took everything away from me. And I've done things that you see and that you enjoy, that bring pleasure to you and happiness and givingness and help you want to give. That's from me, and there's things you don't even know, and I'm not going to explain. And if you don't know me, you can look me up and you can find what I did. And anything I ever said I did or took credit for that I did, yeah, it's never, never, ever a lie. I have no reason to lie and try and make myself important. And I'm not important. I'm just a messenger. I'm not a prophet. I'm not anyone who wants to be famous. I'm nothing like that. I don't care. I'm just giving God's message. That's all. And all those people who walked with Jesus and their NDEs and all of that, that's more of a dream. That's not what happened to me. I was definitely out of body, and I was definitely somewhere where I call nowhere, talking to God, like at the gate. And God gave me another chance when I was a child. And I never, ever forgot that promise that I made to God, that I would be good, even though I screwed up lots of times, actually, probably on a daily basis. But in my heart, I cry for the world. I cry for all of those children that are being killed and displaced and abused. And I cry that people sit and do nothing and don't stand up, that they think it'll pass me by. No, it doesn't pass you by. You think you belong to Christ if you're not living Christ, if you're not helping others and doing what's right, you're not of Christ. And there's a Vide. I used Vide to make a video, and it tells you in Matthew what you need to do to be considered going to heaven, to be chosen by Christ. And that's feeding the poor, clothing them, help healing the sick, and just keep going on, doing good to anybody, to everybody, to treat other people better than you treat yourself, as Jesus gave in the second commandment. Love one another as I have loved you, as Jesus has loved you. Not treat others as you treat yourself. Some people are pretty sadistic to themselves. No. Love others as Jesus has loved you. He gave everything, even his life, for everyone else, for our sins and for our inadequacies. And he tried to show us the right way. But everybody just waters it down to he died for our sins, so I'm saved. No, you're not. Even though you think, oh, I cast out demons in your name. No, you didn't. You helped the demons. You did not help the poor, the children, the little ones. You didn't help anybody. You were complicit. Anyway, and like I said, this is one of my last videos that I know of I'm going to be making. Pray for me. I'm praying for all of the world. And prayer does work. Get the demons out of your life. Be more giving. You can mitigate what's happening, but you're not going to stop it. And there's really nowhere to hide. God bless everybody. And the peace of Jesus be with you. Always. Remember, God is the answer. Love is the answer. Love means helping other people, not just loving who's in your family. Jesus tells you plainly, and you still don't get it. You make up your own. Everybody's a pope. Everybody reads the Bible now, and now they all know. They can't understand English. I'm amazed. I'm totally amazed. But I feel sorry. for myself and for everybody. This world's going to go through some terrible things. Watch the war in Iran. It's only a few, I don't know, a month away, last couple weeks, a week. I don't know time. It's coming, and it's deliberate. Everything they're doing is deliberate. The people attacking the ICE agents, that's deliberate. The ICE agents being aggressive and hurting people and shooting them, that's intentional. It's all intentional on both sides. They're all in the same club. The headquarters in the North Americas, which includes Mexico, America, and Canada of Freemasonry, is in Washington, D.C., with a statue of Albert Pike in the front, who was a devout Luciferian and required reading for the higher ranks of Freemasonry. So he worshipped Lucifer. Remember, their grandmasters are worshipful grandmasters, which breaks the first commandment of God. And Jewish people, just on a side note, if you believe that the commandments given to Moses only pertained from Jew to Jew, yeah, you listen to the Theodore Herschel, who was an atheist, and Netanyahu was an atheist. So anyway, back to the commandments of God. You break the first commandment with Freemasonry. And you worship Lucifer, the creator. You call him supreme being of light. God, that's Lucifer in Latin. Just, I can't go any further. All your police officers or chiefs of police in your towns, they're Freemasons. All your senators are Freemasons, and congressmen are Freemasons. They're all Freemasons, or they're Eastern Star, whatever the women belong to. And that's where the buildings they all go to and meet each other. Right in D.C. You think they're not hanging out buddies there, wearing their little fucking aprons, worshiping Lucifer together, and then bullshitting you that they're different sides? It's all the same side. It's all Lucifer. Every bit of it. Why do they have the devil worshiper out in the front? And when BLM was tearing down all the statues, they damaged Albert Pike's statue a little bit, still there. They didn't replace any of the other statues. The creator of the KKK. Yeah. Read the Albert Pike letter to Manzini. Oh, they tell you that's a fake letter. Well, I don't know. Read World War III. And if that's not exactly what's happening today, then somebody made a good fake letter in the 1950s. That's exactly when they say it's from, but it's really from 1871. But really, they pegged exactly. You know why they took down the monarchs in England? I mean, in Europe in World War One? That was just to separate all of the Christians so that they could never build a crusader army again against these evil demons. They're all split into 50,000 different sects. And Islam is in the same problem, and so is Hinduism and everything. You're controlled by the Zionists, by the money. Money is the root of all evil. The headquarters of that is in London. The Rothschilds, the London country city, and then you have the Vatican, where they were doing the moral values, and DC, where they were doing the military. So when they knocked down the 3 buildings in New York City, the Twin Towers and Building 7, that was to show you what they're going to do. They're going to take away the Vatican. They're going to take away DC's power for America, and they're going to put it all in the one building they built that will control everything. Your moral values, which will be a congregation of you are God and you can manifest anything, bullcrap, New Age stuff, and that will be in England. The military will be in England. And everything and the money still controlled in England, which will be digital money, and you have a chip in your head. So they're going to shut you off, boom. But right now they can do it with frequencies. They had people in the Iraqi war surrender. They surrendered by them playing frequencies at them. In another war, I forget which country that is, the soldiers just dropped their weapons and surrendered. They played a frequency. They are controlling you. They're brainwashing you on X and social media, and you're falling for it. Really, you should stay off the social media, and I should too, but it's the only way for me to say things to people. So again, God bless everyone. Bring Jesus into your heart. Help anyone you can. Don't listen to the zombie movies that they programmed you with, or any dystopian movie where, oh, when everything crashes, you got to go around stealing food and killing other people to feed your family. You need to get together and figure out how to support each other and how to feed each other and how to take care of the sick and the elderly and the children, not how to eat everybody like they teach you in the movies. So much preemptive programming, it's pathetic. And watch The Fog soon. It's coming. I'm going to end this because I'm just being a little bit too repetitive. God bless everyone. Again, I can't say it enough times. Love is the answer. And love means to help one another and to love everyone. Doesn't matter race, color, creed, or whatever religion they believe in. If your God is teaching you to kill anyone for any reason, you're not worshiping God, the Father in heaven. You're worshiping the demons. They're the ones who kill.